Well, there you go. Thanks for that, Homer. Right now, we're going to take a look at Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2, a game I'm personally very excited about because I'm a big Marvel nerd. We got Gu and Dennis here showing off the game. Guys, welcome to the show. We're so happy to have this game here. Tell us, Dennis, feel free to jump right into the game because I know people want to see it. But tell us, first of all, another Marvel Ultimate Alliance game. The first one was tremendous. What was the bar set? What did you guys want to do with this game?
Well, you know, I think Marvel Ultimate Alliance, first of all, thank you for having me.
Sure.
And Marvel Ultimate Alliance really set the bar for being sort of bringing the largest army of superheroes in the hands of players. And we're really trying to take that superhero fantasy to the next level. And there's a number of different ways we're trying to do that in this game. Not only bigger, more immersive environments, ultimate destructibility and so forth, but you know, first and foremost, bringing the largest army of superheroes back. So 24 playable heroes right out of the box. Some of these heroes you've never seen before in a video game, and other ones are returning fan favorites. Secondly, we set it into we take inspiration from the Marvel Civil War storyline, which, as many of your viewers know, is a really popular storyline in the Marvel universe. We use that as a jumping point to be able to explore what-if scenarios. What if Captain America's side won instead of Iron Man's side? Right. And that sort of thing. Really give players a canvas to experience the characters and their personalities in a modern context. Third, we really bring, from a game mechanics standpoint, concept of power fusions into the game, which is heroes joining together and combining their powers to overcome obstacles. And so Dennis is going to be showing a bunch of that today. And so, for example, Captain America fusing with Storm summoning lightning, reflecting it off Captain America's shield. Now, fusions are really cool because they unleash massive amounts of energy and damage and so forth that are unique to the characters. So every character fuses with every other character, yielding over 250 unique moves. But what's really cool about it is it really encourages cooperative play. Right. So the final element of what really makes it distinctive when we try to take to the next level is a really accessible action role-playing game where 4 players can play cooperatively on the couch or online, and really easy to customize your characters, get in for non-stop action.
And we're looking at Songbird right now. I'm so glad she's in the game, first of all, but what is this level? Where are we? What are we doing here?
So in this level, we're following sort of the storyline to the eve of the Civil War, and so the eve of the passage of the Superhuman Registration Act. The Capitol building is under attack. You don't know who's behind it, but you know that there are a number of international mercenaries that are going after it. So you're called in as part of a superhero commando unit to be able to help save the day, essentially. Songbird is a new hero that we bring into the game in the franchise. She has the ability to take sound energy and make it physical, and she's featured prominently in the Civil War storyline. In this mission, you're going to go through, clear out the mercenaries. Of course, there are loads and loads of enemies that we're going to throw at you. And really, we offer the power and the control to players through the power fusions as well as the hero powers to be able to get through all of that.
All right, well, we mentioned Songbird, but who else are we playing with here?
So on the roster, we have Captain America, Storm, and Juggernaut. So in this game, you're going to be able to play a number of prominent villains, some of the ones that we've announced already, Venom, of course, Juggernaut. There's a number of really cool ones. And I think we're going to, offer something new to players towards the end of our discussion today.
Yeah. Now, is there any friction or any penalty for pitting heroes with villains in the same group? How are you handling that?
Well, actually, we want to encourage players to play with as many characters as possible. So one of the new things in this game is switching your character on the fly, so you can go back into the team menu and pull out any hero available to you in the roster. We don't penalize any team combination, but we offer bonuses for cool ones. So some of the obvious ones are like get all of your Fantastic Four characters together, and their fusion energy recharges at a higher rate because they have higher teamwork. But other ones, you can create all female teams, you can create a team of tanks, and they get unique boosts to their playstyle based on the types of teams that you construct.
All right, so it looks like we made it to a new part of the level here. Juggernaut's getting busy. He's a really fun character to play. We have a number of really cool tanks in this game. Right.
One of the cool things about the tanks that we have in this game is they can pick up characters and use them to beat other characters in the game. You're looking at here a fusion between Songbird and Juggernaut. She's created a ball of sound energy around Juggernaut that makes him a giant wrecking ball, essentially. Dennis is steering Juggernaut to be able to clear out the enemies. So during the fusions, they're not only visual spectacles, but there's lots of sort of tactical application for them as well. In this case, it's a guided move.
you sort of touched on it, but I'm wondering about the game philosophy about fusions, because you have so many characters, pitting characters who maybe have never been together in a comic book. What was the philosophy behind combining, say, Songbird with Juggernaut and creating something you hadn't seen before? That seems like a big task.
Right. I mean, the fusion concept really allows a level of sort of new exposure. I mean, it's something that's existed in comic books forever. When heroes face overwhelming odds, they team up to be able to overcome them. But with fusions, we have to make it, we have a number of different design challenges that we tackled, and I think players are going to have a lot of fun with it. One is making each power native to the character. So Songbird has sound energy. How do we combine that with Juggernaut's sort of superhuman tank-like abilities to make for a really fun fusion move? So that's part of some of the creative challenge that we have, and what you see here is a good combination of our energy elements as well as Juggernaut's abilities as well.
Yeah, it would be a good superhero game with lots of great villains, and I think we're looking at Deadpool here. Perfect time to talk about Deadpool. He's great. He's a great character.
Deadpool's a little bit crazy. He's one of the comic book characters that knows he's in a comic book. So in our video game, he knows he's in a video game. So he's going to be talking to you directly as a player, and he's an example of what you're about to see is a boss fight, actually, with Deadpool. Once you beat him as a boss, he's kind of crazy, so he joins your team. And so he joins you as a playable character as well. So in addition to the 24 playable characters that we have dozens and dozens of named Marvel characters, hallmark of the franchise, that you encounter and fight through the game in the course of boss battles. One of the unique things that a Civil War storyline allows us is hero versus hero combat as well. Of course, Iron Man and Captain America, but many other kind of hero versus hero situations as well. We really try to bring out the personalities and the backstories of the characters as well. In the game, we have over 300 conversations, a high level of detail, both with character fidelity and all of the folks that you're talking to will have voice lines with facial capture. So really trying to explore the personalities of characters that you encounter.
Tell me about enemies in the game.
So lots of different enemies in the game. Of course, we have a huge cast of playable characters. We have to create a huge cast of enemies to play. You're going to encounter dozens of named Marvel characters that are enemies in the game, some of which are playable, some of which are non-playable, and you encounter them just as enemies. In addition to that, we have sort of a huge variety of different types of AI enemies that you're going to encounter. Guys, different factions, guys from Latveria, guys from Mercenaries, so numerous different factions, S.H.I.E.L.D., White Star, that you're going to encounter. And lots of different types within those factions. Guys that are brawlers, guys that are gunners, guys that are shielded guys that have grenades and rockets as their weapons, cyborgs. So, the game is all about saying, well, we'll give you this great canvas to play from a perspective of number of heroes, number of powers, number of fusions. But with that, you can do a whole lot with the types of enemies that we're going to throw at you.
Right. We're looking at DC here, and I know we've seen some other things in videos on the site, but can you give us some flavor about where you'll be traveling in this game, the different locales?
So in this game, we take a different tack from the prior game, which took you through a romp through the entire Marvel Universe. We put this game in a much more real-world setting. We start in Latveria, but then we take you to New York City, then to Washington, D.C., and then the adventure unfolds because really the storyline of Civil War, we try to cover the main beats leading up to it, which is the Secret War storyline in the Marvel Universe, then through the Civil War, and then we take you to new areas that you've never seen before. So really in our What If, explore an area of the different areas of the world that don't exist in the Civil War storyline, but when players see it, they're really going to be able to relate to it.
Working with Marvel and wanting to make a Civil War game, a game that was based on the Civil War storyline, how much latitude did they give you guys to sort of add to that fiction and that mythology?
Marvel's been great to work with, and they have really created a phenomenal canvas on which we can, really bring out the personalities of these characters, bring out the storylines and that kind of thing. So the Civil War was a great basis for that because it's kind of a modern narrative with a debate of security versus liberty. You sign with Iron Man and register your secret identity. You go with Captain America and protect individual liberties. But then they were really great about saying, well, look, something we can offer in the comic books as players to explore what ifs. So you guys come up with an idea for this. Right. Come up with the storylines that are going to be respectful of the comic book, that are going to be great takes on it, and so really a great enhancement to the overall universe. And that's really what our team of writers has been really hard at work trying to do. So we really hope we can take this to a place that fans are really going to love.
Cool. Do you mind if we take some reader questions?
Absolutely.
All right, let's do it. Chris Randall from Ottumwa, Iowa wants to know about alternate costumes, that kind of thing.
So alternate costumes are going to be back in this game. We haven't announced the number of alternate costumes that each character will have, but every character in this game will at least have one additional alternate costume. And they're going to be a great part of exploring the different personalities of the characters. One of the cool things about alternate costumes are, since we put so much attention to the character detail in building each of the models for each of the heroes, the alternate costumes are going to have that same amount of love in them. So I think players are going to get a lot out of that.
And one of the fun things about all the Marvel superhero games is that there's an element of character customization, right? Tell us about that.
So character customization is a big deal in Ultimate Alliance 2. We try to make the character, there's two kind of things that we have to work with for character customization. One is we want to make it as streamlined as possible, but we also, so that people can sort of enjoy an action RPG experience, especially if they're a casual user, without getting into all the deep stuff. On the other hand, for the enthusiasts, we have loads and loads of customizable options, so I'll talk about the major classes of those. Every hero has customizable powers, a core set of 4 powers each that are really well balanced, so any combination of heroes are going to feel good with any other combination of heroes. And each of these, through leveling, you get to customize those powers. So instead of giving lots of different powers to choose from, we start with 4 core ones, and then you get to upgrade the intensity level of those. So when we do the basic math, 24 playable characters, 4 core powers, and several levels of upgrades for every one of those powers, we're talking about hundreds of different types of powers that players can explore. Secondly, every character has passive abilities. So Wolverine has regeneration, Captain America has leadership, and so forth. So players, through their experience points, so you saw Dennis wrecking a lot of objects in the environments, so each one of those orbs gives experience points to the players. Those experience points can be spent to upgrade abilities. So abilities are, let's enhance Captain America's leadership. That means that the team's ability to be able to do new fusion attacks is going to be enhanced. So things like that. And then there's a totally different kind of concept that we add into this game, and that's a concept of team boosts. So throughout the game, through beating bosses, by exploration, by achieving a sort of unique feats with each hero called heroic deeds, players earn boosts. The boosts are essentially enhancements to the entire team. Once you've earned them, you keep them in your set of boosts, and then you can deck out your team with these boosts. So that'll be things like resistances to fire, electricities, things like that, but also enhancements to your attacks. Some favor bruiser type teams, some favor power players. And so these boosts really offer a way of customizing your team play to your particular play style. It looks like we're moving on to something new here.
Are we showing this? I thought we were going to save that for the end. Should save that for the end, but if that was supposed to be secret.
Okay.
That's all right. Let me get a few more questions from the audience, if you don't mind, and then we'll end off with our secret there. Marcus Canning from Kent, England wants to know about DLC.
Well, we're going to have a big program for DLC for Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2, and one of the features of DLC is going to be downloadable characters, of course, as players would expect. One of the cool things about downloadable characters in our game is because every character can fuse with every other character. That means that right out of the box we have this 276, I think that's a math, for fusion moves. Now every new character you can get confused with every other character too. So the number of fusions that you have available to you is going to increase exponentially as you add new characters in it. So just the ability to add new characters is going to provide a lot of new play value for people in this game.
Nick Eli, you sort of touched on this, but Nick Eli from Glendale, Arizona wants to know, do you get to choose which side of the Civil War argument you're in?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Yeah.
You know, in our what if scenario, you follow two sides of the coin for the Civil War. So you have a lead up to the Civil War, the prelude to the Civil War, the kind of situation that creates the public unrest to be able to say, let's register these identities in the interest of public safety. And then players get to choose. They say, do I want to side with Iron Man and side with the government, or do I want to side with Captain America and fight the good fight? And they get to play those branches. Now, the branches themselves can really be looked upon as saying, okay, there's a Civil War storyline and a kind of a story arc, and I'm going to see two sides of that. And then, of course, it wouldn't be an Ultimate Alliance if we didn't try to figure out a way to be able to get out of that situation or bring the Alliance back together, so we reunite that and then take the storyline in a totally new direction as well.
Cool. Chad Shepard from St. Louis wants to know about additional online modes. I mean, you've got co-op, but is there anything else you can do online?
You know, we haven't announced yet, and we will be soon announcing some of the other cool kind of things that you can do online. But the core of the experience is your cooperative play online, which I think is a really cool, distinctive feature for Ultimate Alliance. It was for the first game, it is for ours. And a lot of our systems are geared around making this co-op play streamlined, accessible. One of the cool things about upgrading your characters in this game versus the prior is that before, to be able to get into the depth of upgrades, you had to pause the game, and so everybody in that experience would be paused until each player decked out their characters. In this game, we have a quick upgrade menu that comes up on your screen, and when 4 players are playing, up to 4 players, that quick upgrade menu will be available right on the gameplay screen. AI will take over that player's characters, and the rest of the players will continue to play the game all the while. So at any point, players can get in there, customize their abilities, equip their team with boosts, things like that, without slowing down the co-op action.
I'm getting lots of questions about, people want to know, is this guy in this game, is the Hulk in the game, all these questions. So I want to ask that in the sense of, when you guys sat down and looked at the roster, the huge roster of the Marvel Universe, you decided what characters needed to be in this game. What was that process like? And personally, which character did you want to see that had to be in this game?
Well, you know, for me, I'll tell you first which one I had to have in this game, and that was Hulk.
Right.
You know, I mean, I don't think you can, I couldn't make a game without Hulk in it, right, you know, for an Ultimate Alliance series. And that's kind of an interesting springboard because, you know, the decision process kind of fits into 3 kind of main categories. And of course, we'd like to have as many as possible in this game. We try to say, okay, well, who's really important for the storyline, Civil War storyline? Who can we not live without? In my case, it was Hulk. And then, which characters can we bring for the first time to fans? Because one of the things in this kind of game is that in most video games, you're never going to see some characters that may be your favorites, but may not have the limelight in the media. And so we try to bring in a number of different fan favorites like Iron Fist and Songbird that make a lot of sense in this game as well. So those are 3 kind of concepts that we use to determine it. The other thing is we did a lot of work in reaching out to fans and saying what would they like to see as well. So we took fan focus group surveys and said, if you had to make a game, you know, which ones would you really enjoy playing? And ultimately the tough decision is sometimes you have to make these decisions. So, you know, we have 24 out of the box. We're going to offer more for DLC, do as much as we can to get as much in for fans.
I know you can't please everybody, especially in this case. All right, so the final question before we get to this new trailer is, of course, platforms, release date. Everybody wants to know.
Okay, well, Ultimate Alliance, we're making it at Vicarious Visions for PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. The game is also going to come out for Wii, for PS2, PlayStation Portable, and Nintendo DS. So all the major console systems, essentially.
Do we have a release date, yes?
The release, we don't have a release date, but we have a time frame. Definitely this fall, 2009. Within that, we're targeting September for the release.
All right, well, thanks for being here, guys. We can't wait to play Mua 2. Thanks for that. Right now, we have an exclusive trailer of Mua 2 that's going to reveal a brand new character. So hope you guys enjoy this. Green Goblin is in this game. Another character reveal. I have to ask you before we let you go. Green Goblin, great addition. What's he like to play?
You know, I think Green Goblin is really fun to play. I mean, one of the really cool things that he has is his glider that he can summon, and you know, while the players are brawling and that kind of thing, you can summon the glider and it's going to glide by and do things like napalm attacks, drop grenades, things like that. So one of the really cool things about Goblin is, you know, he was actually a villain that you fight in the game, but he can also join your team in the game, and our storyline accommodates that. And we really try to bring the different aspects. He uses bombs, he uses napalm attacks, he uses his glider. So I think he's a really good, well-balanced character. It offers something very different. Feels very different than some of these other heroes that we have in the game.
Very nice. It'll be interesting to see how he interacts with Spider-Man too. Thanks for being here. MOA 2 coming very soon. Right now, we're going to go back to the show floor and check out Homer talking to boxing legend Sugar Ray Leonard as GameSpot's live coverage of E3 2009 continues.